Good morning, my News Media TV family. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning, and I'm wishing for everyone a wonderful and a productive day. And in the news this morning for December 20, 2023, police caution against the illegal use of colored lights on motor vehicles. The Jamaica Constabulary Force is cautioning motorists against the illegal use of colored lights on their motor vehicles this holiday season. Speaking during a recent Jamaica Information Service think tank, head of the Public Safety and the Traffic Enforcement Branch, Assistant Commissioner of Police Gary Mackenzie, advised that the use of these lights, as detailed in the Road Traffic Regulations of 2022, is restricted to service vehicles. The use of blue lights is restricted to police vehicles. The use of red lights, flashing lights, that is, those are restricted to ambulances and the fire service. Large units such as tow trucks and the larger truck trailers may use amber lights to announce their position and approach on the roadways. It is not for these lights to be used randomly, ACP Mackenzie noted. Headlights on all vehicles must also be properly angled, as motorists who use very bright lights that are incorrectly positioned pose a threat to other road users. In other words, the left headlight is to be shining straight, and the right headlight is to be similarly shining, and both lights are to be angled slightly downwards. If you shine lights directly at people and other motorists, then you are blinding them, and the potential for a crash exists, he stressed. ACP Mackenzie further informed that no other light on a vehicle should outshine its headlights, adding that auxiliary lights or reflectors should also be set at a lower ampere. Jackson and the Prime Minister Holness clash over impending boundary shift in Portmore. A clash ensued between Member of Parliament for Southern St. Catherine Fitz Jackson and the Prime Minister Andrew Holness regarding the imminent boundary shift in Portmore St. Catherine. MP Jackson chided the government over what he said is a clear gerrymandering and reversal of the successful stewardship of past administrations since 1979, where the boundaries were determined through the Electoral Office of Jamaica. He argued that some sections of his constituency will be left without a central government representation once the boundary changes are realized.
There's a document submitted by the Ministry of Local Government with boundary proposal unilaterally determined. And what that proposal would do is to establish a parish that cuts off parts of two constituencies. Mine is one. Minister Terry Long represents a part, will no longer belong to an established constituency. Areas that I represent will have no member of parliament. And what Minister Warmington did say publicly, it will ensure that his party has dominance over those areas. The classical definition of gerrymandering in 2023. Prime Minister, that's a retrograde step. And I don't want your legacy as Prime Minister to be tainted by that. That was promulgating then to allow the owners of properties to divide properties and estates for themselves. That's the antecedent of that act, which is now being used to create political boundaries in St. Catherine. An 1867 imperialist legislation, not a modern legislation for which all of us would have participated in. So, Prime Minister, I want good sense to prevail. The media asked me earlier on, where are the community members here this morning? Why aren't they here? I said they probably are here because they have nothing to celebrate this morning.
But Prime Minister Andrew Holness hit back at MP Jackson's remarks, describing them as dramatic. Mr. Holness argued that Mr. Jackson's claim is misguided and could misinform those unaware of the government's proposal.
In case you have been convinced by the very sincere presentation of my batchmate, and if I were not someone in the know, I too would be tempted to believe it. And as I have pointed out, one of the data, which is so important, that a large part of the constituency is uninhabited and probably will be the part that will be moved off and will not affect his vote. Now, the challenge, when you were speaking, my dear Fitz, I listened to you carefully. Now, it was never my intention to come here to address matters of boundaries and constitution, because as Ecclesiastics tells us, there is a time and a place for everything. It would appear that the real concern is not the improvement of the people's business, but the loss of votes.
Corporal Rohan James seeks a contempt of court order against the police high command. Another major legal showdown is looming between Chairman of the Police Federation, Corporal Rohan James, and the Police High Command, this time over its decision to delay the full reinstatement of Corporal James to the force. Lawyers for Corporal James on Tuesday filed an application before the Supreme Court seeking a contempt of court order against the Police High Command and Assistant Commissioner Angela Lewis, who was named as the chief complainant against the Corporal James in his ongoing legal battle with the leadership of the force. Lead attorney Hugh Wildman told the News that the application was filed Tuesday afternoon due to the apparent reluctance of the High Command to honor the court ruling handed down last month.
Well, it was filed because the court made an order a couple of weeks ago that Mr. James should be immediately reinstated with full pay. And to date, the assistant commissioner, who is the respondent in this case, he has not carried out the orders of the court. So we served them the formal order, hoping that they will be guided, and they failed up to now to respond. So we are left with no choice but to file an application a while ago that he be imprisoned for failing to comply with the court order. You see, the essence of it is that no one is above the law, including the Commissioner of Police. The rule of law says that no one is above the law. So if he fails to carry out the order of a court, then he can be imprisoned. In fact, actually, I set out by document. One, there is no appeal, as Mr. Champagne is telling the public. There is no appeal. Mr. Champagne filed an application for leave to appeal, which is not an appeal, because he sought leave to appeal and the judge refused it. So what he has before the court is an application for leave to appeal. So he's totally wrong. And secondly, even if he had filed an appeal does not operate as a state. That is trite law.
Men caught stealing cement plead guilty. 3 men who were held with 115 bags of stolen cement pleaded guilty to simple larceny in the St. Catherine Parish Court on Tuesday. They were remanded until March 7, 2024, when they are to be sentenced. The accused are 23-year-old Ramon Clark of Palmer's Cross, Clarendon, 21-year-old Christoph Scott of Hazard Drive, Clarendon, and the 26-year-old Malcolm Harris of Canaan Heights, Clarendon. About 10:30 p.m. on November 28, a team of police personnel was on patrol and went to Mills Close in Bannister District, Old Harbour, based on information received. The 3 accused were seen removing cement from a building and loading them onto a truck when the team arrived. They were escorted to the Old Harbour Police Station, where subsequent investigation resulted in the 3 men being charged with a simple larceny. McDonald and the co-accused returned to court on January 9. The murder trial involving Portland businessman Everton Beachy Stout McDonald has been adjourned until January 9 next year. McDonald, 68, and his co-accused 33-year-old St. Mary fisherman Oscar Barnes are currently on trial for the murder of McDonald's 32-year-old wife, Tonya. Denver Lynn Bobla Minot, who is currently serving 19 years in prison for his role in the murder, testified that McDonald had contracted him in 2020 to kill his wife for a fee of $3 million, but that he subcontracted the job to Barnes. The woman's partially burnt body was found with the throat slashed in her car, which was set ablaze along a deserted road in Sherwood Forest in Portland on July 20, 2020. McDonald had reportedly accused his wife of being unfaithful and had also obtained pictures of her in a compromising position and on a date with her alleged lover, a former employee had testified. That former employee, who claimed he was the businessman's right hand, also testified that McDonald told him that he was going to disfigure his wife's face with acid and had sent him to purchase the substance. Another witness, who is also serving time, also testified that he was hired by McDonald to harm Tonya with the corrosive substance which he had in a glass bottle, but opted not to carry out the act as Tonya was too beautiful. On Monday, a toxicology report indicating that a substance found in McDonald's office was sulfuric acid was admitted into evidence. Meanwhile, on Tuesday, the lead investigator conceded that he had erred after he was asked whether he had lied about signing a statement about a glass bottle with a corrosive substance. The officer, under cross-examination by one of McDonald's lawyers, John Jacobs, said he had signed a statement which was recorded from another investigator on the team. However, after looking at the statement and realizing that his signature was not present, he said he had made an error. The officer who said he was shown the bottle and the statement further testified that he was shown the bottle on September 18, 2020, and insisted that the date was correct. However, another police witness had earlier in the trial testified that it was on August 18, 2020 that he showed the bottle to the lead investigator. Asked if he recalled being shown a bottle on August 18, he said he could not recall. Jacobs then suggested that none of the statements given by that police witness were recorded at any police station, and the lead investigator strongly disagreed, saying that's not true. He, however, quickly walked back his testimony after he was shown the document and saw that it was recorded at the policeman's home. He then told the court that he was present at the man's home and had observed the statement. At the same time, he said he did not see the glass bottle when he was observing the statement. The lead investigator further explained that he was present for the entire time of the recording of the statement except for the completion. When asked by Jacobs why he had signed, saying he had observed the recording and the policeman's signing of the document, he testified that he was present and that the officer had completed the statement and had read it over to him, and he signed. Further, in the cross-examination, the lead investigator admitted that several of the police officers in the case had recorded their statements. He, however, denied that it was a common practice for the policemen to record their statements. Jacobs then asked him if he was aware that all the other police witnesses in the case had recorded their own statement except for the officer who had recorded the statement at his home, and the officer said he would have to look back at the statements. Attorney at law Earl Hamilton leads the team of 5 lawyers representing McDonald, including John Paul Hamilton, Christopher Townsend, and Courtney Rowe. Barnes is represented by Ernest Davis and Vincent Wellesley.